we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. Normally I'd be against this type of capitalistic corporate synergy. But when the other pigtailed provocateur said I could concoct my own Frosty, I melted. My meal is tribute to the suffering that awaits us all. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with a snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu Mogu.
Moku moku!
Kandit News is brought to you by 76 Circle K Guam.
Good evening, my dear friends. Good evening, Brennan Fausto, my sister Jen, Charlie Alec. Thank you all so much for joining me in tonight's broadcast. It is 7:54 p.m. on Wednesday, September 17, 2025. My name is Troy Torres. Thank you for all of you who are joining us live and for those of you who would join the replay. Don't forget to like, follow, and share Kandit News on all of our platforms. Especially follow our website, kanditnews.com. And if you want to receive our notifications first before any of our other platforms, except for our website gets the news published first. And then from there, I notify through WhatsApp. But I also notify through WhatsApp about our Facebook and our Instagram and our YouTube postings. So for all intents and purposes, WhatsApp is where it's our WhatsApp channel. You go to channels or you go to updates and just search for Kandit News. It's the one that has like 1,100 channel subscribers. Sorry about the camera. I think it's because I keep... Anyway, don't worry about the camera thing. It goes back. It goes on and off. Before I start talking about anything, I just remembered that at Home Depot, have you guys been to Home Depot and have you seen all their Halloween stuff? Now, I'm not like a big Halloween person. I'm a very big Easter and Christmas person. But like I went to Home Depot recently. They're not our advertiser or anything. But they have like so much cool Halloween stuff. They've got this like gigantic, I don't know, like 15 or 20 foot scarecrow that you have to use like a cables to secure it down. It's so cool. And it's not even, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as you would think it would be. Then they've got Chucky and Bride of Chucky stuff that like rotate. It's just such cool stuff. Like if you thought their Christmas stuff was good, Home Depot's Halloween stuff is pretty cool. Anyway, so before heading into mass tonight, I was walking from the car because there was a lot of people at mass tonight, so I had to park far. So walking from my car to the church, I was just going through my emails, and I opened up an email from the Attorney General. It was to the media, and he had sent around the magistrate's report on Arsenio, or let me see how do I say. Pardon me, I need to let me double check how to say his name. I think it's Arsenio. Lucio is the last name. Yeah, Arnucio Lucio. He was born on May 13, 2027. So he's 18. He just turned 18 years old earlier this year. He is the guy who is accused of murdering the 15-year-old boy in the Zero Down subdivision of Jigo yesterday. I'm not sure if it's Zero Down or Gil Baza, or if those are the same. No, I think Gil Baza is on one side and the other side is Zero Down. The Guam Police Department spokesman, Norman Analista, said it was the Zero Down subdivision, but when I looked on a map, Anyway, in that area, right? This 18-year-old guy is accused of murdering this 15-year-old boy, and as I was walking into church, I was reading the magistrate's report. And if you're not aware, a magistrate's report is the charging document. There's an affidavit of probable cause that's attached to it that tells the judge what the evidence is, at least that the prosecution is saying that there is this evidence, and there's enough evidence to bring this case to trial to stick charges to this person. And so in this, as I was reading a cursory review of the magistrate's report, I was horrified by the story, by what it is that the prosecutors and the investigators are saying happened, and it stuck with me. It's not everything I thought of during mass. I think of, my mind is flooded with a lot of things during mass, but part of what I was thinking about during mass was just how bad I felt for this 15-year-old boy and his friends. And so the police tried to stitch this together, and it kind of starts with a separate crime related to Arsenio Lucio, who is the victim in a crime that happened earlier that day. So according to the magistrate's reports, wait, let me just open this stuff up. Where is this? Office. I always lose my place with stuff in email. Norman Analista, Office of Public Accountability. Where? Oh, that's right. I'm in the wrong inbox. Okay, so on September 15th, so this was Monday, Arsenio's older brother, Apres Lucio, okay? This is a magistrate report. This is for aggravated assault and family violence. So Apres Lucio is born April 25, 2004, so he's 21 years old. He turned 21 in April of this year. According to his magistrate's report, after Apres got off of work at about 4 p.m. on September 15th, this was on Monday, he got a 12-pack of Budweiser, and he was drinking outside of his home. And so while he took a little break. He went to use the restroom. And while he was using the restroom, according to this declaration of probable cause by the prosecutor, Apres, I hope I'm saying his name right, Apres says the prosecutor says that Apres heard Arnucio, his younger brother, arguing with their father, Hernino. The father's name is Hernino. And they were arguing about Arnucio not listening to Hernino and Arsenio talking back to Hernino, which the father, Hernino, was being upset about. After using the restroom, the magistrate's report goes on to say, Apres got into an argument with Arsenio over Arsenio not listening to their father. During the argument, Arsenio pushed Apres, which caused Arsenio to fall down and land on the futon. I think that might have been a typo there. While Arsenio was down, A-Press grabbed a heavy black ceramic plate and struck Arsenio's head with the plate. At this point, Arsenio began to bleed. Seeing this, Lucio grabbed a blanket to try and stop the bleeding. Arsenio then got up and left the residence yelling, "Woo," W-O-O. That's how it's described in this magistrate's report. Now, there's more to this. Like, there is A-Press's side of the story to this aggravated assault charge, where he tells a different story. But because I'm going to stop here, because this is the point where the allegations here transfer over to the murder crime. So it says Arsenio then got up and left the residence yelling, "Woo." So I'm going to go over to the magistrate's report for Arsenio. And he's being charged with first-degree aggravated murder. That's the highest you can be charged with. First-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. And this is a little difficult to read. It's going to be a little difficult to hear, okay? Because it's pretty heavy. Like, I can't stop thinking about that boy and the boy's friends who witnessed this whole thing. So this is what it says. On or about September 15, after being advised of his rights and completing... And by the way, some of this, the English is not very good. I don't know if it's the prosecutor who wrote this or if they just tried to stitch together the police report or whatever, but the grammar is not very good in this one, okay? After being advised of his rights and completing the GPD custodial interrogation rights form, Arsenio Lucio, this is the 18-year-old boy, okay? The 18-year-old man that's accused of the murder. We're gonna call him by his first name, Arsenio, okay? Shared that following a physical altercation with his brother at their residence, Arsenio grabbed a kitchen knife, left the residence, and walked toward the roadway yelling. Thereafter, he encountered 3 males as he approached Chalansomnek. Shuffled, that's in quotes, shuffled an individual in a black shirt, causing him to lose his balance. Mounted the individual and stabbed him once in the shoulder. This is what Arsenio tells the police, right? That he stabs him in the shoulder. He then got up and ran away, returning to a friend's house where he had been earlier that day, where he hid the knife and changed his clothes. Arsenio offered to show the police where he hid the knife and his clothes. The police subsequently recovered the knife and clothing at the location Arsenio provided to them. The victim at the aforementioned location, a minor, identified hereinafter identified as AF, was subsequently transported to GRMC, arriving at approximately 11:01 p.m. on September 15 without a pulse. Following attempts to resuscitate, the victim was pronounced dead. GPD Police Officer 1 Nedlick conducted a body check at 11:47 p.m. and observed a 2-inch parallel laceration of the outer left hand. Sorry, the thing froze again. On the outer left hand, from the index finger to the thumb knuckle, and a 3-inch puncture wound on the left temple of the head, with red fluids that appear to be blood surrounding the wound with pink sponge-like matter, which appeared to resemble brain matter. No other injuries were observed. I'll stop right here. If the police officer's observations are correct, and there's nothing in this magistrate's report that says that any doctor confirmed that was brain matter, or that the primary laceration, the primary stab wound was to the head. It doesn't say that. What it's saying is what the police officer observed. But what if what the police officer observed was correct? That means this boy was stabbed in the head, and if that really was his brain matter that was protruding from the laceration, that means that, I don't know, either the stab wound broke through the skull or from the eye. I don't know, but what a horrible thing. And you just, I feel so bad for that boy. Okay, so this, moving on, it says no other injuries were observed according to this magistrate's report. GPD officer Espinosa responding to a radio call that a minor had been stabbed, proceeded to the scene of the incident and encountered Urson Michael, who indicated that he had knowledge of the stabbing and that he had called for the ambulance. Urson informed him that he knew the other two boys who were present at the time of the incident and escorted Officer Espinoza to them. Both witnesses are minors and will hereinafter be referred to as Witness 1 and Witness 2. Witness 1 reported that he, Witness 2, and AF is the victim, were returning from a friend's house when he observed a man holding a knife in his hand approximately 10 to 12 inches in length. The man appeared to be irate and intoxicated and was cussing in their native language at him and the others. He was not sure how to react and could not understand the reason for the man's behavior. He then observed the man's frustration become more aggressive, raising the knife above his head and lunged toward him. In fear of his life, Witness 1 turned and began running in the direction from where he came. He observed Witness 2 and AF run past him, but the two collided and fell to the ground. He then observed the man run toward AF and stab him with the knife he was holding. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine witnessing that? Especially if you're a child. After the man ran off, he and Witness 2 saw AF bleeding from his head and wrist and called for help. Urson arrived shortly thereafter and called 911. Witness 2 reported that while walking with Witness 1 and AF toward AF's residence on the occasion in question, he observed a male individual who appeared upset and was holding a knife about 10 to 12 inches long. The male was cussing in their native language. The man then raised the knife, and he and Witness 1 and AF ran in the direction they were coming from. He and AF collided and fell to the ground. While lying on the ground, he observed the man still holding the knife standing near AF. Out of fear, Witness 2 got up and ran away. So this is what the prosecutor is alleging happened, and this is the affidavit of probable cause that led to the charging of Arsenio Apres with the aggravated murder of that 15-year-old boy. And if this is an accurate description of what happened, I really hope, first of all, I pray for the family of that boy. I pray for that boy. I pray for the family of that boy. I pray for the Apres family. I pray and I really hope that the family of the boy and the witnesses, his friends, are getting help. I really hope that whoever with the Guam Police Department or with the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Services, some sort of system of care is in place, because these are school-age kids, and I don't know how they're dealing with all this and how they're going to deal with this on a long-term basis, but they witnessed, if this is an accurate description, they witnessed their friend get stabbed through his head, and they might have seen his brain come out. I feel so bad, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I had no intention of going live about this. Matter of fact, I wanted to go live about something else, but I'm going to talk about that in just a second and just sort of wrap things up into a discussion about, man, what's going on with our island, right? I mean, I know crime happens all the time. I know violent crime happens all the time, and we're not immune to it here on Guam, obviously, right? But it just seems like a lot, and sometimes it seems heavier than other times, like tonight. It seems like we could really use some temperature reduction in this island. So I was, as we've been so focused on this whole corruption thing, this whole tenorial corruption thing, right? One of the things that I do when I wake up in the morning is I check up what's happening in Southeast Asia, because there's sort of like this popular uprising of people against the corruption of their governments and of the elite in their lands. And one of these places is the Philippines, where they're going through. It really is inspiring on so many levels. And yesterday, a friend of mine who lives in Manila sent me a pastoral letter, and I thought this was very interesting. A pastoral letter by the Archbishop of Manila. And I wanted to read it to you because let me read it to you first. And then you tell me how much this speaks to you. It says, "My dear people of God, the issue of corruption plaguing our nation cannot be ignored anymore. The catastrophe it has caused is shaking the soul of our country and has awakened the seemingly lethargic resolve of many Filipinos to make a stand against corrupt practices and to demand accountability from the guilty. Corruption is more than just a manifestation of greed. It is a concrete form of evil. If left unchecked, society will be ruined by it, including the core of our humanity. That is, our dignity. St. Paul exhorts us in no uncertain terms, quote, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, rather expose them, end quote. From his letter to the Ephesians. Fortunately, we can still turn our apathy into empathy before we drown in the floodwaters of corruption perpetrated by some callous individuals both in the government and in the private sector. The many organized rallies denouncing corruption and demanding accountability are not merely pockets of political resistance. They are not just expressions of disgust and anger directed at the perpetrators of one of the vilest scams in the history of our nation. They are actually manifestations of the people's collective moral conviction and an exercise of their rightful obligation to suppress this proliferation of evil in our midst. In a healthy democracy, the people's fiscalizing participation in governments is not confined to the election season. Rather, it continues between elections by holding leaders accountable through acts of vigilance, discernment, and when necessary, protest. Confronted by these prevailing circumstances, the Church, illumined by her social teachings, must provide guidance and inspiration to the people. She must ensure that the political squabbles resulting from this mess will not make corruption merely another political and partisan concern. There should be impartiality and objectivity in understanding these issues, coupled with our duty to promote the common good. Politics is not hopelessly irredeemable. As Pope Leo XIV said, echoing the words of his predecessors during the Jubilee of Governments last June, politics can become, quote, the highest form of charity, end quote. When it is true to its vocation, public service can be an act of Christian love, which is never simply a theory, but always a concrete sign and witness of God's constant concern for the good of our human family. Continuing on, the Archbishop of Manila. This is Cardinal Advincula, by the way. He's visited Guam before. One with my brother bishops in the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, I, therefore, enjoin all parishes, shrines, chaplaincies, mission stations, and religious communities to conduct prayerful reflections, circles of discernment, and concrete but peaceful and nonviolent actions against corruption. Our Christian identity includes what Pope Francis called social charity or political love, which is the willingness to give ourselves for sake of the common good, to labor for genuine and integral development in society, to be involved in the work of building and transforming our nation. Let us put our country and the people's interests foremost in our mind. Let us hope and pray that justice and peace may reign in our hearts, that God will hear from heaven, forgive our sins, and heal our broken land. What a beautiful, inspirational letter from the Archbishop of Manila to the people of the Philippines. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because we are not hearing these same words, this use of the bully pulpit that our senators, we have 15 of them. We've got 25 mayors and vice mayors. We've got an elected public auditor. We have an elected attorney general. We have an elected governor. We have an elected member or delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives. I've only heard one of them in the midst of the tenorial corruption case and the tenorial contracts issue speak up about corruption directly and try to assure us, the people, that he's going to work and doing his job and doing what he can to stem out corruption. It's just been Doug Moylan. I haven't heard any senator during this entire period say with even 10% of the clarity that the Archbishop of Manila has presented to his flock a statement about corruption and why it's so important that they do their jobs and what they're going to do in order to stem it out. And so, knowing this, yesterday when I got this pastoral letter from that the Archbishop in Manila wrote to his people about corruption happening in the Philippines, I sent it to the Archbishop of Agana. And I asked, do you agree with what the Archbishop of Manila is saying? And will you consider writing a pastoral letter to us? Because, my dear friends, as I was thinking about when I was walking into church tonight and thinking about and reading that magistrate report, that horrible story, and thinking about the murder, and I was thinking about the drugs and how our leaders, with almost complete impunity, expecting us to buy their BS with their back and forth on Guam Memorial Hospital as though we're stupid and we don't remember that we have been here before. This is a broken record, and it is because of their failures that we're back at it again with this GMH stuff. As we forget as a society, or not forget, but as we leave behind as a society, conversations that toll our interests in whether kids are learning to standards so that when they graduate from our public school system, they are prepared for the world ahead. Because we're not having those conversations outside of inner circles anymore. As a society, we're so caught up on all of this other stuff, all the simple stuff. We can't even fix the roads. The cost of living is so high. And everything just feels rudderless. And if we can't even get our elected officials to say something about corruption, much less to do something about it, then maybe the Archbishop of Manila is onto something. Maybe the church, or the churches, because there are other denominations on this island as well, can fill this void and say something and provide some type of leadership that inspires us as a people to have greater confidence in ourselves so that we can make better decisions and get ourselves a better government at least next year. And I thought this was an important conversation to have, because at the heart of all of this, and maybe this malaise that we have, this uneasiness about society, and I'm guessing that you feel the same thing that I feel. I'm making this assumption, and I'm guessing that you feel the same way I feel, because I live in this same island that you live in, and I experience the same things by and large that you experience. There are going to be degrees and variations, but we're all kind of just struggling through, right? And so there is this deep uneasiness, and it's because we're rudderless. I don't know. Hopefully Archbishop Jimenez will answer. I'd sent that to him yesterday. I did get a response from his PIO, Tony Diaz, early this morning, that they have received my requests for comments and they are reviewing. So hopefully we get something tomorrow, because I'll tell you, we really could use leadership, and we really could use a solid voice against corruption. And maybe after the Archdiocese of Agana says something, or another church in this island says something, it might inspire leadership from our elected officials. For Kandit News, I'm Troy Torres. You all have a wonderful evening. Good night. God bless you, and I love you all.
You asked, we delivered. Guam AutoSpot is extending our overstock sell-off with the hottest deals on island, like our 2025 GMC Canyon with $4,000 off. Or slide into a brand new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, starting at just $24,995. September is your chance to drive big and save even bigger. Visit us today or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com or call 478-AUTO. Guam AutoSpot, where the savings never stop.
Dare to try? Something new? Life's too short!
You gotta chill with a snackable drink.
Life is too short. Hey, you gotta chill.
Mogu Mogu.
Moku moku!
Buy fuel, get Wendy's. Drive to your nearest 76 Circle K and get free Wendy's. Yes, free. Fuel up with $30 and score your choice of a 6-piece crispy chicken nuggets or a juicy junior cheeseburger deluxe. Fresh, hot, and packed with flavor. But hurry, quantities are limited and this delicious deal won't last long. So hit the road to 76 Circle K, fuel up, and get Wendy's free before it's gone.